So now you got a 11-month-old and a 6-year-old boy that their mom's dead. You don't ever get undead at the hands of a punk who was upset because he didn't get enough Christmas presents from his mom. And it's ridiculous.
Abrielle Baldwin, affectionately called Bree, was a 23-year-old mother of two that faced the challenges of single parenthood with unwavering love for her children. Her struggles were often shared on Facebook, but her dedication to her family always kept her moving forward. Bringing joy to her family, especially her brothers, was something she took immense pride in. Bree was eagerly anticipating the holiday season, looking forward to celebrating her youngest child's first Christmas with her family. Tragically, she would never have the chance to experience her baby's first Christmas, as her life was brutally taken when she was gunned down by her own brother. Welcome to American crime, femicide. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification button for future uploads. Abrielle, affectionately known as Bree, was a family-oriented woman with 2 children. The shared roof with her brothers and mother served as a constant reminder of her dream to secure a job and provide her children with their own apartment. Tragically, she would never live to see her child's first Christmas or fulfill her aspirations of independence. On the fateful evening of December 24th, Christmas Eve, Bree joined her mother and 2 brothers, 14-year-old Damarcus and 15-year-old Darcus, to purchase Christmas gifts. An argument ignited when jealousy flared between the brothers over unequal gift-giving and spending. The dispute persisted as the family journeyed from the store to their grandmother's home. Both brothers were armed with guns. Upon arrival, tensions escalated as Damarcus aimed his firearm at Darcus, prompting family members to intervene and separate them. Damarcus subsequently moved outside. Outside, Damarcus was confronted by his sister, who was cradling her 11-month-old son in a baby carrier. She pleaded, "You all need to leave that stuff alone. Why are you trying to start it? It's Christmas." Damarcus, however, continued to argue with Abrielle, hurling derogatory insults and threats her way. He menacingly declared his intention to shoot her, even proclaiming he would harm the baby as well. In a horrifying turn of events, Damarcus allegedly fired a gunshot into his sister's chest. In less than 10 seconds, Darcus emerged, fired at Damarcus, and swiftly fled the scene. Bree was rushed to the hospital but was ultimately declared dead.
We're here this morning to talk about a homicide that happened here in Largo on Christmas Eve, December 24th at about 1:45 p.m. The victim in the homicide is Abrielle Baldwin, a 23-year-old black female. Her date of birth is May 5th of 2000. She went by the name of Bree and was a mom to 2 boys, a 6-year-old and an 11-month-old. The incident happened at 2357 22nd Avenue Southwest in Largo. We've arrested 2 people, and I'll explain the incident as to what happened. The first person that was arrested is Damarcus. He's a 14-year-old black male. Date of birth is May 2nd, 2009. And he's been charged with first-degree murder, child abuse, and being a delinquent in possession of a firearm. The second is Darcus. He's a 15-year-old black male. Date of birth is January 31st, 2008. And his charges are attempted first-degree murder and tampering with physical evidence. And both of them are in the photographs to my left, to your right, and they're brothers. So this is what happened. On Christmas Eve, as I said, December 24th, Abrielle Baldwin, her 10-month-old son, her 6-year-old son, her 14-year-old brother Damarcus, her 15-year-old brother Darcus, and their mother, Joyce Birch, who's a black female with a date of birth of June 25th, 1984, went Christmas shopping at a store here in Largo. While they're shopping, 15-year-old Darcus was jealous that their mother, Joyce, was getting 14-year-old Damarcus more gifts than he was receiving. So they had this family spat about who was getting what and what money was being spent on who, and they're having this big thing going on in the store, and they're all arguing with each other. They left the store and headed to their grandmother's house, which is where the incident happened, at 2357 22nd Avenue Southwest in Largo. They all piled into one car, and they were heading over to her house. The Coleys, along with Joyce Birch, lived at 608 Westminster Boulevard in Oldsmar. They were going to their grandmother's house because she was going to watch Bree's 6-year-old and 11-month-old baby when she went to work. So they got there to this house on 22nd Avenue Southwest at about 1:45 p.m. on Sunday. Darcus, who's the 15-year-old, entered the home and went into the kitchen with his grandmother. Damarcus, the 14-year-old, stood in the doorway because, again, they're all arguing, and they're having this big spat about what happened while shopping and who's getting what and who didn't get what for Christmas. So this is just normal what people do when they have these young kids getting spats like this. And of course, I'm saying this sarcastically because he's all mad at his brother about what his brother was getting and is not getting. He stood in the doorway and he took out his .40 caliber semi-automatic handgun and he pointed it at Darcus and told him he was going to shoot him in the head. So you got the 14-year-old who's mad at the 15-year-old because mom's not buying equal amounts of gifts to get to grandma's house, and he takes out his gun and tells him he's going to shoot him in the head. So Damarcus tries to get Darcus to fight. Darcus said he didn't want to fight and told him to get out of the house, and he didn't want anything to do with him. One of the boy's uncles was present in the home, and he separated them by moving Damarcus out of the house and moving him out into the driveway area. This is the house here to my right, again to your left, and that's the door where he was standing into, and that's the driveway area that he moved him out to where this happened. And so Damarcus left the doorway. Darcus is still in the house in the kitchen. Damarcus was standing by a parked vehicle in the driveway when Abrielle told Damarcus, quote, "You all need to leave that stuff alone. Why are you trying to start it? It's Christmas." And at that point, Abrielle was in the driveway and she was carrying her 10-month-old baby in a carrier in her hand. Damarcus then began arguing with Abrielle and used some very, very derogatory language that I won't repeat at all, and all kinds of profanity. He was calling her a whore and all kinds of other stuff, and stated that he was going to shoot her and that he was going to, quote, shoot the baby too. Damarcus then moved toward Abrielle and shot her in the chest with a .40 caliber semi-automatic handgun, again, while she's carrying the baby. Abrielle fell to the ground, so did the baby. The baby wasn't hurt because the baby was in a carrier. So when Damarcus falls to the ground, Darcus comes out of the house. And again, Darcus is 15, and he takes out his .45 caliber semi-automatic handgun because, again, I'll say this sarcastically, just normal that all these kids, that's what you do, right? You just carry handguns when you get in a spat with your sibling, you take out your guns and you have a gun battle. So he takes out his gun and tells Damarcus, so Darcus tells Damarcus, quote, "You shot my MF sister," and then Darcus shot Damarcus one time in the stomach. So Damarcus falls to the ground, and when Darcus shot Damarcus, Damarcus was unarmed. And there's about an 8-second gap between the time that Damarcus shot Bree and then Darcus comes out and shoots Damarcus. And when he shot him, he no longer had possession of the gun. Darcus, the 15-year-old, then ran, threw his gun in a nearby yard, fled to a relative's house up in Clearwater, where we subsequently arrested him. Unfortunately, Abrielle Baldwin was transported to Largo Medical Center Hospital here in Largo with a single gunshot wound to her chest, and she was pronounced dead at the hospital. Basically, the round went in through her left arm into her chest area, went across, went into both lungs, all kinds of internal bleeding. She bled out and it popped both lungs. She couldn't breathe. Damarcus was transported to a hospital where he underwent surgery. He's in custody, remains in the hospital, is in stable condition, and upon release, he'll be transferred to the custody of the Florida Department of Juvenile Justice. The Pinellas Pasco State Attorney's Office is going to review the case and decide whether to charge Damarcus as an adult with the first-degree murder of his sister. Darcus, again, the 15-year-old, made self-harm statements after we picked him up at the location where he was in Clearwater, and he is right now in a secure mental health facility, and he'll be charged with attempted first-degree murder and tampering with evidence and transported to the Pinellas Juvenile Assessment Center upon his release from the mental health facility. The .40 caliber handgun that Damarcus used to shoot his sister was recovered at the scene, and the .45 caliber handgun that Darcus used to shoot Damarcus has not been recovered. Again, when he ran, he tossed it in the backyard. We searched that area out there. We can't find it. And the unfortunate reality is it's probably going to be used in the next crime because somebody probably picked it up, and there's all kinds of people over there. And as I'm going to talk about here in about 1 second, there's way too many guns out there on the street, way too many crime guns out there, way too many stolen guns. Everybody's got a gun these days. And the sad part is that thing's going to be used in another crime because somebody picked it up. As you can see behind me in the photograph, Damarcus, again, the 14-year-old, recently posted a photo to Snapchat pointing the gun that he used to kill his sister at the camera. So this is within the last couple days, and this is a Snapchat photo. That's Damarcus pointing that gun, which is this gun, which we recovered there at the scene, which is the gun that he used to kill his sister. So there's the Snapchat photo, and there's the gun that he used to kill his sister. According to many people that we interviewed out there, all kinds of people, family members, young, old, everybody across the board, is that both Damarcus and Darcus carried guns all the time. They routinely carried firearms on them. People knew it. That's what they did. And a lot of it, they claim, is because of recent ongoings in the Ridgecrest Baskins area where they were accosted. And we've had a number of incidents I'll talk about in a second over there in the last couple of months. But again, these young kids, 14, 15 years old, routinely carry firearms. And this is what happens when you got young delinquents that carry guns. They get upset. They don't know how to handle stuff, so they just take out their guns and start shooting each other. And one of them kills his sister, who's a mom to a 10-month or 11-month-old baby and a 6-year-old boy. So how are they getting these guns? Well, it's real easy. They're getting them because they're either buying them on the street cheap, and they're all stolen guns. And for these two guys, they're getting them because they're stealing them from unlocked cars. They're out in the middle of the night doing car burglaries. Both Damarcus and Darcus were arrested for committing numerous car burglaries in Oldsmar, where they live on Westminster Avenue, back in May of this year. Damarcus, the 14-year-old, has arrests dating back to when he was 12 years old. Think about this. He has arrests dating back to when he was 12. He's only 14 now, okay? But 2 years ago, he has arrests for being a minor in possession of a gun, grand theft auto burglaries, loitering and prowling, disorderly conduct, battery on a school employee, and battery on a law enforcement officer. He's only 14. Darcus was also arrested in May for committing numerous auto burglaries. Many of those cases are still pending. In the dispositions with Damarcus previously is that what's he get? Probation. The problem is you got way too many kids out there with way too many guns, and they're getting them because they're buying them on the street, cheap, $50 for a gun, whatever, breaking into cars, and they're stealing the guns out of the unlocked cars. And I've talked about this long time, and those of you who have been around here for a while remember going back now to December of 2014. Charlie Condeck, Tarpon Springs police officer, shot and killed. Where did the gun come from that killed Officer Condeck? An unlocked car burglary, because people leave their guns in their cars. And these punks, these thugs, go out and break into the cars, they take the guns, and they use them for crime, and they kill people. Like they killed Charlie Condeck, and like Damarcus Coley killed his sister. So just in the last 30 days alone, just in our system, and this doesn't include St. Pete Police Department, doesn't include Largo Police Department, doesn't include Pinellas Park Police Department, just in our system alone, and this is what was reported, and they're not all reported because people don't report them all. Just in our system alone in the last 30 days, we've taken reports where 17 guns have been stolen from unlocked cars. You know, I get some people say, look, I can do what I want. I can leave my cars unlocked. I can leave my gun in my car. You know, it's not the responsible thing to do, but they do it. And the problem is the thugs that are stealing them, and I agree with that. The problem is don't steal people's stuff. But the reality is that you got punks like this out there, criminals out there like this that are doing it and going to do it, and then they're going to go and hurt people. And people can't leave their car doors unlocked and leave their guns in their cars. It's got to stop. See, you couple that with, since September, just in the Ridgecrest Baskins area alone, which is where this happened, a couple miles to the west of here, we've had 13 shootings or incidents involving guns in that area. And according to everybody, everybody's carrying guns over there. All these kids are carrying guns. And again, they're getting them from where I just said. So this proliferation of guns on the streets and guns in this area and guns in the hands of these kids is the worst I've ever seen it. I don't think we've ever seen it this bad. I really think that we need tougher laws to deal with these kids. As you can see with their criminal histories, they are not getting the consequences that they should get that keep them from doing it again and again and again, or deterring others from doing it again and again and again. And I really hope the Florida legislature in the upcoming legislative session will get serious about it and will pass legislation that will hold these kids accountable and help us to slow this down. Because if we don't slow it down, we got a big problem. And I've never seen it as bad as it is with the number of crime guns that are on the street and the number of shootings and the number of people that we come across that are illegally carrying guns. And again, they're getting them out of unlocked cars. That's primarily where they're coming from. And all we can do is ask people, really plead with people, don't leave your guns in the unlocked cars. And deal with people like this. You know, enough of this slap on the wrist. Enough of this, you get arrested because you got a gun, you steal a car, you hit a cop, battery on a school board employee, that was another charge that Damarcus had. You got all this stuff, and what happens to him? Oh, well, you know, he's only 14. He really doesn't understand what's going on. We'll just give him probation. It's not working. It is not working. And if you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you always got. It needs to change. The laws need to change. We need to get serious and we need to get tough, and these kids need to get locked up. Send a message. So now you got a 11-month-old and a 6-year-old boy that their mom's dead. You don't ever get undead at the hands of a punk who was upset because he didn't get enough Christmas presents from his mom. And it's ridiculous.
A few days after the incident, Bree's sister shared her heart-wrenching thoughts on the loss of her sister and brothers in this devastating tragedy.
Family is going through an extremely tough time right now after losing a 23-year-old mom of two just a day before Christmas. Hours ago, they honored her life about a mile from here with a candlelight vigil. That's where I spoke to her mom off camera. She tells me that she was there when the shooting happened and is just trying to process all of this. But tonight, this family wants Abrielle Baldwin to know that she is loved and her kids are taken care of. The pain is unbearable. Candles illuminate photos of 23-year-old Abrielle Baldwin and her two babies. They're now left without a mom.
They're going to get taken care of regardless.
Ariana Birch is Abrielle's younger sister.
She was a really sweet person. She was just special.
The 21-year-old comforted by the love Bree's family and friends are showing tonight, but she's heartbroken.
She didn't know people cared about her. She thought nobody didn't care about her.
She lost not one, but 3 siblings.
I feel like everything is destroyed and taken from me.
The motive behind this tragedy has left many questioning the state of humanity and the urgency for gun control and stricter sentencing. A child and an infant are now without a mother due to a heartless and senseless act. A GoFundMe campaign has been set up to cover Bree's funeral expenses and provide financial support for her children. Let's keep the family, especially her kids, in our thoughts and prayers. Rest in peace, Abrielle Bree Baldwin.